Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X researcher and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Planet X Gravitational Effects Causing Cataclysmic Weather. Now, in Article 718 entitled Tornado Damage is Due to Gravitational Effects, Not Wind, I show that tornadoes which arise as a result of Planet X system stellar cores coming inside the Earth's atmosphere affect matter and cause damage as a result of gravitational effects. The stellar cores are sources of gravity, and the gravitational field they produce interferes with the gravity created by the Earth's core system and leads to the creation of a region of gravitational interference between the stellar core and the surface of the Earth, which then causes a connection to arise between the cores, which allows energy to flow to the stellar core, thus connecting it to the power supply, in other words, Earth's core, which is when the gravitational effects are greatly enhanced and most destructive. And here you can see how where the stellar core, it may not be a tornado stellar core, it may be a different size, it may be smaller. The gravitational field it creates is different from what a tornado's stellar core is, but basically it creates exactly the same type of connection. And that connection is part of its cloud comes down, and it makes contact with the surface of the Earth. In fact, this one's about the same size as a tornado's connection. It's made with cloud, and once the connection is made, energy flows through this connection up to the stellar core inside this cloud, and then a little later you may hear lightning, and lightning is the start of the matter creation events, and then the stellar core starts to create water, and water falls as rain. But as this cloud is being lowered, you can usually hear whistling as the wind blows. Which direction would the wind be blowing? Well, what we have is a gaseous cloud moving downwards, so the wind would have to blow downwards, not up. In other words, we have a downdraft, not an updraft here. So hurricanes are a system of stellar cores, and so are all large storm systems, and thus all weather systems are prone to causing the same gravitational anomaly effects through which they can destroy buildings or trees. This is why there is usually one house left untouched in the midst of rubble when a hurricane affects a region. The resulting destruction is due to gravitational effects, not wind. There is some wind, but wind is being used to cover up what is really going on. Planet X system stellar cores within the Earth's atmosphere using energy from the Earth's core system are creating gravitational anomalies inside the Earth's atmosphere and causing the destruction. Even torrential rain coming from these systems is a gravitational effect, because the connection which allows the stellar cores to create rain by connecting to the power source, i.e. Earth's core, is gravitational in nature. And here you can see an illustration of what a cyclone or hurricane system will be like. It will have many cores in it. It will have a central, most likely a large core surrounded by many large satellite cores. And most large weather systems will be made up of many smaller stellar cores, because this is what's inside a planet, a large core surrounded by smaller cores. It starts out as one large core, but they soon break up into several different cores. And I've written about that in recent articles. So this is what you have, and they make connections with the surface of the Earth, after which they are able to create rain. So they drop part of the cloud envelope down in the region of gravitational interference, which is represented by this cylinder here. And once the connection is made, energy flows to the stellar core from the interior of the Earth, from the cores that are inside the Earth. And then the stellar core becomes able to create matter. It creates gases, it creates water, and the water falls as rain. And also, it becomes able to exert a stronger gravitational force when it makes this connection. And this is also when it causes the damage that we see here. And this is flooding and damage to houses in the aftermath of Cyclone Idai in the city of Beira, Mozambique. And you can see that some of the houses were completely destroyed. You can see no walls left standing, and yet some houses were left intact. There's a house left intact. Everything destroyed here, everything destroyed here. Well, this house was partially damaged. This house was completely damaged. This house was partially damaged. This house was partially damaged. Some walls are missing. This house was completely destroyed, and so was something that was there. And so it's where the gravitational interference causes the drop of that cloud envelope, part of that cloud envelope, and then energy flows, and then the gravitational effects in that region of gravitational interference get stronger, and it leads to the destruction of these walls. But where it did not come down, because this is a system. This is not just one large stellar core. This is a system of smaller stellar cores, all acting somewhat like tornadoes dropping down the cloud and making a connection, and then through that causing the destruction. So the region of gravitational interference has different regions within it, where gravity is greater than normal gravity on the surface of the Earth, and others where it is less than normal gravity. So where gravity actually reverses, and there may even be more than one ring. There may be several rings where gravity reverses as we move from one ring to the other. And so as this region of gravitational interference affects, say, a wall like this, it may mean, and they all create slightly different effects because it's a matter of the resonances that are created as a result of the two interfering gravitational fields. But say, for example, it affects one wall. The region of gravitational interference overlaps a wall. Then if this region causes matter to move up, then this part of the wall moves up. If it causes matter to move down on the side, then that wall moves down. What will that do is that will tear the wall apart. And often what it does, it causes the density of the matter making up the wall to change. So the density may increase on one side and decrease on the other. And then as the object may move across, then it alternates. This may now be over here where matter had been made to expand first, and now it's made to contract. And that's it. The wall will be torn apart. So this is damage to Panama City Beach, where Hurricane Michael made landfall. And we see the same pattern as in Beira. Buildings razed to the ground with buildings left untouched in between. There's a building left untouched there. There's a building that's completely gone there. And hurricane strength winds cannot do that. Hurricane strength winds would affect this building as much as that one. It would not leave a building untouched like that. Tidal surge cannot do that, and even torrential rain cannot do that. Only gravitational anomalies created by the gravitational interference regions under a system of where the stellar cores passing through can do this. And the size of these systems seems to be increasing, and the gravitational effects they seem capable of creating, once physically connected to the power supply, which is the Earth's core system, seems to also be increasing, suggesting that larger objects are found in the systems that are now coming in. As both number of objects and size of objects increases, we will see systems that will be able to destroy entire cities, and eventually systems that will most likely encompass whole countries or even continents. And this illustrates, it comes from a movie, but illustrates how this could happen. You have a whole system of tornado stellar cores up here, and they move down. They come from space. They move into the Earth's atmosphere, and they start making their connections. They start having their gravitational effects. and they can, through this, destroy a whole city. So in conclusion, although there is usually some wind associated to tornadoes and hurricanes, wind is not and cannot be responsible for the damage these systems cause. The damage caused by tornadoes and hurricanes is due to gravitational effects, which arise when they connect to the power supply, which is the Earth's core system, and through which they are able to tear buildings apart, leaving nothing but rubble, and also create rain to the point that floods are the result. And these are references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.